Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Rolling.
So today what we're going to do is you just got your brand new harness and your wing in the mail. Okay. So now you're going to be doing some hand kiting. You're going to be doing some reverse and some forward inflations. But you need to know how to clip in first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this all works. So here is our harness. And we're opening up our wing right now. This is our kiting wing that you just got in the mail. And we're going to open it up to where we have the open cells. That's called the leading edge, or up and out this way, right? We're going to open it up and have the cells out this way. We have the wing span, so tip to tip is wing span. From leading edge to trailing edge, that's our cord, okay? So that's the reason why we don't call these lines cords. We definitely don't call them strings, because strings kind of sound scary if you're going to be up being dangled by strings. Okay, so there's our wing. I'm going to put on my harness. Now when you get your harness, it may or may not look like this, but it's going to be very similar. These are going to be free flight harnesses, so they are rated to go fly. First thing I'm going to do is make sure that I'm in here, and I'm going to grab one of these. Boy, they are in there good. So I got the leg. I'm going to clip it. I'm going to grab another leg. You might have to pull and open it up and clip it. These probably only have one chest, so I'm going to pull this. So I'm going to clip it like so. However, when we talk about clipping in, we're going to be talking about a second chest and a chin, because when you're out there, not in a garage, you're going to need to make sure that you're clipped in correctly. So I'm going to make sure that this is snug enough that it is not going to hinder me lifting my legs up, but it's snug enough, and you might have to pull this tab here and this one to pull it down and snug if it has this tab. Same thing with your chest. You might need to pull it tighter, or you might need to let it out, okay, depending on
size,
how big you are. All right, so now this is snug, and the way I check and double check is I say leg, which I'm actually physically checking to make sure it's not accidentally bundled up on my shirt or something and it just pops off, because that does happen, and that's why we always do these checks. So I check leg, chest, the other chest, and make sure my chin is buckled. Now there's two ways of actually clipping in to do an inflation. We can do a forward inflation or reverse inflation. A forward inflation is for zero wind up to about 5 miles an hour. And that's when we do the forward inflation that you've probably seen on the internet. Reverse inflation is when you have a little bit higher winds, 6 miles an hour and up. The reason why we don't want to do a forward inflation with more than 6 miles an hour, because as soon as the wing comes up, hits that power band, you're going to stumble backwards and you might turtle. If you have a machine on your back, you're going to break a prop. We don't want to do that. So to counteract the effects, we do a reverse in higher winds, so that way we can use our body weight to pull back, bring that wing up, and get it steady. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to clip in. So we're going to do a forward inflation first, or a clip in first, and then a reverse. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the A's are on top. So I'm going to step backwards with my hands apart. Now I'm physically looking now to make sure that the A's are on top from my finger all the way to the leading edge on both sides. What we're looking for is a possible twist. See that twist right there? That's what we do not want. So when we stand back, we're looking to see if there's any twist. If I just came up to here and picked them up and checked to see if the A's are on top, well, it sure looks like my A's are on top, but you don't know unless you walk backwards, have the lines tensioned, and now it's like, oh, okay? So you have to stand back, have to feel that tension on that leading edge. Now for sure I know that the A's are on top. Now I'm going to walk forward with my hands apart. And I'm going to keep on walking to the trailing edge. Now I'm going to very easily, I'm going to swoosh these lines up, and I'm going to walk backwards until I'm behind that swoosh line, and I'm going to lay this down to where the A's are on the outside and the brakes are in the inside. All right, A, B, B, A. If you're an ABBA fan, that's what we're looking for, A, B, B, A. That gives us the opportunity now to come over here, turn around, and get ready to do a forward clip-in for forward inflation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my palm out, and I'm going to reach from my right side down to my left. So I'm going to reach down, and I'm going to grab this connection point, and I want it to be right there on my hand. See where my hand is? So I'm reaching down and I'm grabbing it. I'm standing straight back up. Now my wrist can only turn one way. Can it turn this way? No. It turns this way. Notice how I'm just twisting. Am I doing this number? No, 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 no. I'm just standing up and I'm flipping. Flip it and we're going to clip it. Now these are going to be inboard here. So I'm going to pull it up, turn, and now I'm going to clip in like so. Okay. If the trims are up and the brakes are up, I probably clipped in correctly. My A's are towards my knees. Now the other one. Palms out. Gonna reach down, grab onto the connection point, stand up, and flip it and clip it. All right, pull this one out, turn, and that opens up. Connect it, it shuts and locks. Now that we're clipped in, we're double checking to make sure that, okay, the trims are up on both sides, the A's are towards my knee, I probably clipped in correctly. But we got to make sure that everything is done right. So we're gonna double check to make sure my doors are shut and locked, right? What could happen is, as I was shutting it, it got caught like that, and if I don't check it, when I go fly, I'm going to look at this and go, oh my God, what the hell did I do? And you see this on the internet.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So why do people do this? This is so dangerous. It only takes a quick second to make sure your doors are shut and locked, and obviously they did not do this step. So I'm checking to make sure my doors are shut and locked, right? I'm going to come down and I'm going to make sure my trims are set and even. Depending on your wind, you might want to pull them all the way in for 0 wind. If we have some wind, like 1 or 2 miles an hour to 5, we're going to put them out to the neutral point. And then we're going to double check to make sure that they are even. So they are set and even for what we want to do. It's nil wind right now, so I'm going to make sure they're pulled all the way in. Now what happens if someone comes over and you open up your wing sack and you say, this is the riser, it's really cool, these, look at the trims and stuff like that, how neat is this? It goes all the way out, and you forget about it, right? Face, yeah. So, oh, I see a smudge. There we go. So, what if I forget about it? Well, now if I just go clip in and I'm ready to go, I take the brakes, I come around like this and I'm ready to go because I've done this a million times, guess what? I got one trim in, one trim out. What do you think that's going to do?
That's going to
That's going to
spin
mess
you
me
in a
up
circle.
a little bit, isn't it? So we always want to make sure that we don't skip any steps. Now that's an intermediate syndrome or someone that was trained incorrectly. So my doors are shut and locked, I come down, oh my goodness! My trims are not set or even for what I want to do. So I'm going to pull that in for nil wind, 0 wind. And there we go. The trims are set and even. Next thing I do is I come down and I grab my, what are these called? Brake
Brakes.
toggles, right? So I'm not pulling them off the magnet right now, but I am going to look. I'm pulling them out. I'm not doing this number. Pulling them out to right about here, and now what I'm doing is I'm looking to make sure my streets are straight. I don't care about the lines right now, okay? I'm looking at these to make sure that they're not twisted. So let's say that I pulled them up like this. Oh, that looks good. Whoa, what is this? Crazy, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let go of the brake. I'm gonna fix this. Make sure that my streets are straight and double check again. Okay, it looks good, all right? Now the next step is to pop this off the magnet. Now if you do have tip steering, you're gonna take this and put them in one hand before you pop them off, and make sure your tip steering is on the magnet, free and clear to that pulley. And you're gonna do the same thing on this side. Make sure the tip steering is on and free and clear to that pulley. We don't have it on this particular riser, but if you do, make sure you don't skip that step. So now I'm gonna pop this off the magnet. I'm going to physically look down to make sure that this brake toggle and this line goes all the way to that right there, right? You see that? What is that right there?
The pulley.
The pulley, right? So when I say free and clear to pulley, notice that it is free and clear all the way to that pulley. What I'm looking for is maybe this thing was dropped or whatever and put back on here wrong. The streets are straight. And let's just say that you just like, I want to get up in the air. So you pop this off like this, get your A's, and now you go forward, you do your inflation, the wing comes up like this, and look, your brake is locked. Now you do a pull like this, and now you can't take out of this right turn. Now you're doing this right turn. Well, what do you do if you're doing a right turn? Now you're trying to pull this side to go straight. Now you're still on the wing, and now you got a parachute, and you're gonna wish that you didn't skip this step. So, is this free and clear to the pulley?
No.
Absolutely not. Look
No.
at that mess there. So right there on that one quick check, I could have saved my butt.
Life.
Right? Saving my butt. You never know. So here we go, right? Streets are straight. The brakes are free and clear to pulley. Excellent. With my hands holding onto the brakes like this, I got a throttle in one of my hands. So we're not worrying about that right now because we're a beginner and all we're going to be doing is clipping in to see how this works. Now, when we want to do this for inflation, we got to grab those A's. So watch how I do this. Look at my thumbs like Fonzie, right? I'm going to take my thumbs, I'm going to turn them forward. I'm going to come back behind the risers. My thumb is going to go here. My thumb is going to go here. If you need to come in a little bit closer so you can see that. Here and here, right? And the A is between my thumb and my finger. See how my thumb, how the A is between my thumb and my finger?
Yep.
Well, I'm not putting my finger out, but you can see that now I'm going to bring this up and out. And now, come over here to see the malleons real quick. So I want to make sure that this is even. We want this to lay like that on that side, and we want it even. So on this side over here, that this is the same way. It's nice and even. So I'm holding onto the brake, and I'm not holding onto the A.
Right.
Okay. So with it out like this, now I'm ready to do that forward inflation. All I'm doing is holding onto the brake. My thumbs are up. I'm not holding onto the A's because of when I go forward like this, those A's are going to start to tension. Focus on one or the other hand, right? So now look at what's going on. That is just staying in one spot. Am I gripping onto it? No. Is my thumb up? Yes. Is my hand holding onto the brake toggle? Yes. So that means that when I start to go forward and the wing starts coming up, it's going to pop off automatically. If I was holding onto this, now I'm holding on to the A, and who knows what that wing's going to do. So we don't want to hold on to the A. We want it to automatically pop
Pull out.
Okay. So once again, all right, streets are straight.
Streets are straight.
Brakes are free and clear to pulley. Thumbs up, one hand to the other, right? And I'm going to go point down, come behind. I'm going to get that A riser between my thumb and that pointy finger on both sides. Right? I'm going to continue to go up and out. And notice how the risers just stay on my forearm. I keep on going until that is where I want it, which, what is that triangle thing again?
Malleon or the quick link.
Malleon or the quick link, exactly. I walk forward now with my arms out. As I go forward, the A's are going to pull and keep that A in place. Am I holding on to the A?
No.
But notice how this is separate. It's not even, right?
Right.
So I fix that. Now I walk forward and look at both of my hands. They're even on both sides. Now I'm ready to do a forward inflation. So that's how we do the forward inflation.
Okay.
So if you want to do a reverse inflation, when do we normally do a reverse inflation, Butch?
When the winds are above 5 or 6 mile an hour.
Right, and you have to judge that a little bit different. It's usually about 6 miles an hour or so, so you got to be careful when it comes to doing a forward inflation with too high of wind. Now, once again, we're going to do a reverse inflation. So I am making sure that the what?
The A's are on top.
And notice how I'm holding on to the connection points.
Connection
Here's
points.
the A's, and I can see that the A's are on top, and it goes all the way from here to what?
To the leading edge.
Don't break my phone.
No.
So follow that all the way to the leading edge. So there we go. So that's what we're looking for to make sure
Free
that
and
the A's
clear to the leading edge.
are up top, right? So let's say that we just grab them here, right, and we look down. Are the A's on top? Hell yeah, the A's are on top.
Yes.
And if we decided that this is what we're going to do, then we would be wrong. Watch what happens now as I pull backwards. Are the A's on top? What is this over here? Look at that. Right here. What is this?
That's the big old boo-boo.
Right. That is a riser twist that we don't want, right? So this right here is what we're looking for.
Right.
And we can't tell.
Can't tell
if
when
we're
you're
right
up
here.
against.
Right? If I'm right here, you can't tell. So you have to step back. You have to tension those lines.
Put some tension
I'm
on
going
the
to flip
lines.
it this way, and now notice that the A's are on top. From here all the way to
The leading edge.
the leading edge. All right, so now I'm going to walk forward. I know this is what I want to do. I'm walking forward because normally in a trail or in a reverse, we have some wind. If I have tension on the lines here, it's possible it's going to catch me and I'm going to, it's going to inflate. I don't want it to inflate. So I'm going to de-power the lines while walking forward. Now, once I walk forward now, the lines are not powered, and I'm going to take my risers and I'm going to put them together. Okay? Now that they're together, I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to put them underneath the riser. I'm going to hold on to it like this. Okay? Now I'm going to take this hand, because it's always palm down, and I'm going to grab onto my connection points. I'm going to let go of this. Now my wrist can only turn one way. Can it turn around this way? No, but it can turn this way. So we call that flip and clip.
Clip.
And then I can clip in this side, and then I can come over here and clip in this side. Now, did you watch how this happens? Let's go ahead and go through that one more time real quick. Maybe you need to come over here and do a different angle. You know, everybody has different angles, but stay close so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm making sure that the A's are on top and there's no twist.
No
Right, if there is a twist, fix it.
Tickles.
So I'm making sure that the A's are on top. Now I can turn it like this, and look, the A's look like they're on top, but look at my riser system. The trim is right there. You don't want the trims by my thumb. I want the A's by my thumb. So there are the A's, and there we go. So I'm going to walk forward to depower the lines. Now that the lines are depowered, and I know that the lines are straight and the A's are on top, I'm going to come forward. Come really close to this so we can get a better angle, right? Not too crazy. But then we're going to put them together, right? So the risers are put together. Here are your connection points. The A's are on top, the brakes are behind. I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to hold on to the risers like this, okay? With my palms down, I'm going to grab on to this, because we want to flip it to the left, because I'm going to turn to the left out of the reverse inflation. So I let go of this. Now, am I going to be doing this? No, because look, you were on the line, I flipped all over. Now look at all that. So do we want to do a quick flip?
No.
No, you've seen it on the internet.
Slow and
right?
steady,
You've
yep.
seen it on the internet. Look at all that. That really messed up. And you were on my line. What's wrong with you, dude? No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so once again, I'm stepping back, making sure that the A's are on top. There's no flip. My thumbs are here on the A's. I'm walking forward to de-power my lines. I'm putting them together, right? Putting my hands underneath. I'm going to go palms down because now the only way that my wrist can turn is this way. So I flip it. Notice that it's just an easy movement. I'm just flipping it. Now I'm coming over here. And notice that it's right here in my palms. I'm holding on to this. And look at all the control I have. What happens if I just kind of grabbed it like this and turned it? Now, number one, which one is the correct one? And how am I going to get that in there? It's all flimsy and spaghetti.
Right.
Right? So we want to do nice and easy. I'm stepping back. A's are on top. Deep power the lines. Put these together. Put my hand underneath the riser system. Palms down. My hand can only turn one way. I flip it. And I clip it. Clip. And clip. The trims are up. The brakes are up. The A's are to my knees, so I know that I probably clipped them correctly. However, we always want to double check to make sure that the, what is this? My doors,
are shut and locked.
I come down to the next thing and my trims are set and even. I go further down to my brakes and I look to make sure that my streets are straight. Right? So we're looking to see if maybe I picked them up and they're like this. This is not straight. See how that's all twisted? That's what we're looking for, is possibly it being twisted somehow, or we picked them up wrong. We don't want the twist. So the streets are straight and even, right? So now, if you have tip steering, you put your brakes in one hand and you check your tip steering to make sure it's on the magnet, free and clear to pulley, and make sure the tip steering is on the magnet and free and clear to pulley. This riser system does not have that, but we always want to double check. Also too, if you have the speed bar, you always want to make sure the speed bar is not wrapped around that too, but we'll work on that later. So this is just our kiting wing. Good. Now we're going to pop off the brakes and say what? What are we saying, Butch?
Make sure that the brake lines are free and clear to the pulley.
Right, so I'm looking down to make sure that this is free and clear
to the pulley.
Go all the way down to the pulley. No, the video. There you go, all the way down to the pulley, right? So we're making sure it's free and clear. What is not free and clear is if it's something like that. See, notice how it's not free and clear to pulley? Something is wrong. You've got to fix it, because that would give you a horrible, horrible inflation. All right, so now I got this in my hands. Since we're doing a reverse, we step in reverse. As I'm stepping in reverse, notice how the lines are starting to tension up. And you can see the crossing, okay? So what I want to do is I want to take my right hand, if we flip it to the left, and we take our right hand and we cross over, okay? So here's my hand, I'm crossing over to grab the A's, okay? I got the A's. Now I'm taking this hand and coming under to grab the A's. Notice how the A's are on top. Video. There you go. Notice how the A's are on top. I know that you're watching this more than video. So we're making sure that the A's are on top. That's what we're looking for. So what is not A's on top? Let's just say I reach down and grab this A and this A. Now look at the lines. Is the A's on top?
No.
Right, so that is incorrect. Okay, so right over, left under. So right over. I'm going to grab the A. Left under. Grab the A. Now when I pull them up, notice how that the A's are
all the way
to
the leading edge
from my thumbs. Now there's two ways of doing this. I can put them together like this and pull it all up at once, or I can keep them separate and pull them up. Once it's above my head, I let go of the A's, and now I'm kiting. Okay. So let's go over this one more time to make sure that we understand, right? After we go through, the doors are shut and locked, the trims are set, the streets are straight, the brakes are free and clear to pulley. We're doing a reverse, so we're stepping in reverse. right? We do what? Right over.
Over, left, under.
Under. Now the
Grab
A's
the
are on
A's.
top. Okay?
Okay.
That's how we do that. And we will continue this lesson later. But I want you guys to do this over and over and over. I want you this to be such a muscle memory that when you go out there and you start kiting with this wing, this part is no big deal.
Right.
The next part is having up in the air, and now when you tilts to the right, you pull to the right. It tilts to the left, you pull to the left.
Right. That's where I made a big mistake.
That's where everybody does. It's no big deal. Dookie Bear. Dookie Bear. See what he's doing?